Hello friends, I'm Jana Eubank. I can't believe we're flipping the calendar over to the year 2025. I hope you're having a great new year so far. Now I have one more layout to share with you using the November 2024 hip kits. I did receive my December 2024 hip kit in the mail about a week ago, and I'm excited to get started on that. I also have some other products from Simple Stories that I want to start playing with. So I will be switching gears after this layout, but I had this double page layout that I wanted to share with you. So today I'm doing a Christmas layout. These photos are from 2017, which was quite a few years ago. I haven't really scrapbooked them because a lot of the photos are blurry, to be honest. And I was trying to source photos from other family members to see if they had something better, but I just decided to go for it and get these recorded and get them into my book. So I'm going to be using a 2-page spread for these just because I have so many of them. I still printed the photos smaller because I like to have the room to play around with my design and also to have some breathing space in the overall design and be able to spread out a little bit and have some room to add some embellishments. So that is why I printed my photos smaller, which actually worked out because I also have some smaller photos of the individual families that I thought would work great in these smaller frame die cuts and chipboard die cuts. So you can see how I'm just roughly setting out my photos here and deciding my general design that I want to go with. So I was originally going to start with the Cardstock kit for my background paper, but I decided to switch over to this pattern paper that has a subtle distressed dot stripe going through it. I like the snowy feel of this, and I like that the horizontal lines are going to draw your eye across both pages. At this point, I'm deciding what other pattern paper layers I want to bring in to this layout. I did go ahead and frame each of the photos with a 1/16 inch border of white cardstock. That will also help them to stand out against the pattern papers. So I decided to use this tan snowflake paper, and then I will also bring in a black and white plaid. Now I do purchase the pattern paper kit so that I have 2 of each pattern. So if you only subscribe or have purchased the main kit, you won't have 2 of these patterns, but I love having the flexibility not only to create more layouts, but to do double page layouts when I want. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so I'm going to place all my photos onto this tan snowflake paper, which I think is so cute. It's a great neutral, and it will also allow my other colors throughout this design to really pop. Here is where I'm bringing in that black and white plaid, which I think is a really fun combination with this tan snowflake paper. And then, of course, the photo frames that I have for each of those individual family photos will really stand out against these neutrals. Now, once I get these neutrals down, I decide that I want to add in a bit more color, and so you will see me do that in just a moment. I've decided the measurements for one side of my photo, and then I'm just using a pencil to make a little mark and then trimming the second papers to that same measurement. And you can see me doing that here. That also helps me to keep the patterns the same going across those 2-page spreads. So when you're using a pattern paper like this that has a very defined pattern like that plaid, you do want to make sure that it continues across the gutter of a double page layout so that it looks continuous. So I've again gone ahead and adhered the elements down that I know I'm going to use, and now I'm starting to bring in some more embellishments. I thought that I had that red frame over on the left hand side, and so I decided that I want to bring in some pops of red throughout the rest of the layout. So I did pick up this select this chipboard flower that's going to go to the right of my title, and then I also thought it'd be fun to tuck in a couple of those tag die cuts to the right of the postcard. Now I have a few of the fussy cut florals left over. If you've watched my other videos, you know that I've fussy cut out all of the flowers from the Floral Fantasy paper. It has these gorgeous poinsettia clusters on it on a dark green background that just pop against these lighter colors, and I really love the way that they look. And I had several of those left, and I figured I would just use up the rest of them on this layout. So I'm bringing these in, I'm trying them out on different areas of the page, and I decided to do 3 major clusters of them. Now, if you watched my last video, you may have remembered me saying that when you fussy cut a page of florals, I always also fussy cut all the little partial pieces that are around the edges. I think it's good to have those because then you can fill out your floral clusters if you need to with those little tiny pieces. And so you'll see me do that. Now, because I had that pop of red with both the red frame on the left side of the page and then the red flower on the right side of the page, I needed something towards the bottom of my design in another red. So I decided to bring in these 2 red plaid branding strips, and that will kind of create a balance with that red color throughout the page. I had those 3 little frames, and one of them was a tan color that was starting to blend in with that tan snowflake paper in the background. I decided to go through the die cuts and find something that I could layer behind it just to help that one stand out a bit. And I chose to go with this little small tag, and I think that worked out well. So now I think that's also a great spot to add in a little bit of softness with the twine. And so I really like how that is coming together. So I'm going to go ahead and start adhering down these pieces. Now, because I added in these florals, I'm going to scoot over my postcard and also that green ticket shaped journal piece towards the right a little bit to give those a little bit more room. For my title, I'm going to select this script word in green that says jolly and spell out holly jolly on this postcard. I also added the mistletoe kisses phrase over to the red frame just to add some words. And so I'm going to work on this title portion for quite a while. Now, I had my basic design done, but I do have this space off to the right where that tan snowflake paper has kind of some white space, some empty space. So I'm trying to think about how I can fill that in. So I did bring in the ornament die cuts, thinking I might sprinkle those down the right edge. I try a few different things. I bring in more flowers, trying to fill that out. There's my cat Ozzy sitting on my page on the left. If you have a cat, they know that they have to come scrapbook with you, right? So I'm just working on this portion of the page, thinking about how I want to fill this in and kind of fill in that space a little bit more. Now, I like the ornament die cuts, but I'm not sure, because I have all those florals over there, I'm thinking, do I want to add in another element? I don't know. So I have those set off to the side. I'm just thinking about it while I'm bringing in all these little partial pieces of the flower paper to fill out my clusters a little bit more. So I'm just pondering that while I keep working away, and I'll come back to those in a few minutes. So I can't quite settle on these ornaments for some reason, so I decided to switch gears and bounce over to my title and work on that for a while I ponder what I might be able to do on the right side of that page. I do go back to the main kit with these cardstock stickers. They have this really cute font in them, this red scroll or decorative font. And I decided to spell out my word holly with that, again, to bring another splash of red into the page. So I'll go ahead and add that to the postcard. And then here I'm tucking in some more of those partial pieces to fill out my floral clusters. I'm still thinking about those ornaments, but I'm also flipping through all of the embellishments, thinking about other pieces I might want to bring in, some words and phrases. You can see I added that Chipboard Good Cheer banner above the title. I'm sprinkling some other words on or auditioning them, I guess, around other parts of the page. I add this little chipboard bow to the bottom of that green frame. And I'm noticing also that I've created this white space to the left of the word jolly. And for some reason that bothers me at this point. I'm thinking, okay, can I accent that? Can I add in like a flower or something decorative to the left of that word jolly? So you'll see me bring in some pieces and start playing around with that. In the meantime, I have this holly piece that I add to the bottom of that photo on the left. And then here's where I start bringing in the foam stickers, some other die cuts. I try on these little gingerbread people. I try on this cute little black kitty cat, and I'm just popping them in there to see how they feel and see if they might settle in those spots. I love that little black cat. He's so cute, but he doesn't quite fit there, so I don't leave him there, but I do like him. I need to find a home for him eventually, for sure. So I'm just popping in some floral pieces. I have this little fussy cut floral that I thought, well, maybe I'll overlap over that onto the postcard, but it just starts feeling a little busy. So I thought, okay, nothing quite fits there, so I'm just gonna move this green holly jolly towards the left, and then I'll switch. I'll put the floral back above the little tiny frames, and then I'm going to switch gears and go back and start working on that blank space to the right of the postcard. Now, it's really bothering me that I have so much space to the right of that postcard, so I do decide to move the entire postcard cluster over a little bit and create more of a gutter between the photo and the postcard. Before, it was kind of tucked underneath that 3x4 photo, but I decided, no, I'm going to just move it all over. Maybe that will make things feel a little bit better over on the right-hand side, and I won't have so much space. I also decided to bring back in these 2 tags that I had tried out at the very beginning of this process, and I tuck those under the florals. I really like that because I had that tag shape that I added to highlight that tan photo and added some twine down there. And so adding those 2 tags over on the right hand side of the page gives me a second place to add some twine. Now, if you know me, I love my visual triangles, so I definitely need a third place for twine. So I decided to go back over to the left-hand side of the page and lift up this chipboard frame and just wrap some twine around that a few times, and I go ahead and tie that in a bow, and that will finish out the page. Now, I am notorious for adding more to the page after I've turned off the camera, so you'll see me add in this one more little flower cluster to kind of bring that flower cluster towards the bottom of the page and break up that plaid paper a bit. But I also go back in and add some stamping to some of the labels. You'll see those. That stamping comes from the main kit and also the Pocket Life kit. And then I also sprinkle in some of those epoxy stars, which I think finish this off perfectly. All right, guys, this is my last holiday page for this year. I'm going to move on to some other products. I hope you've enjoyed this process video. We'll see you again soon.